Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Sam, we got another great Full Court Press podcast, a college basketball experience conference preview. We are going to the Ohio Valley Conference with Coach Kyle Gerdeman from Lindenwood Lions and Western Illinois Leathernecks. Chad Boudreau, welcome to the Full Court Press. We got like half the conferences down, and we still got a lot more to go, but welcome. And we're excited to talk some OVC hoops. And let's focus, Coach Boudreau, on OVC hoops for once.
Okay. That'll be difficult, but I'll do my best.
Welcome to the conference preview, coaches. Yeah, let me, Coach Boudreau, why don't you start off? Let us know what you've been up to this summer. You know, there's really no off season in your guys' jobs anymore. So what's that been like navigating this past summer?
I think there's more of an off season than people realize. As coaches, we all stick together and act like we're super busy in the summer. But, you know, I got 5 kids and a wife, and I spent some time with them. And my players, you know, in the OVC, I don't know how it is for Kyle, but, you know, we don't do the full 8 weeks in the summer. We shorten that up. And it was good. For me, and I'm sure Kyle feels the same, a lot of this now feels like, and I spent a lot of time in junior college. I played in junior college, coached in junior college. It has that feel to it where you're bringing all these new faces together. And so you're spending less time working on skill stuff and more time focusing on team and bringing a group of guys together and getting them ready to go. It's a fast forward, speed dating, whatever you want to call it. But I like it because I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah. What about you, Coach Gerdeman?
Yeah.
How was your summer? I know yours was real busy. I went to Chick-fil-A today.
Yeah, tan, so you know
that's
he was
a daily challenge because I have to drive past it every day. So if I can get past it, we got one victory if I can get on the highway without going to Chick-fil-A. But that's hard to do. No, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before we got started. You know, kind of the same as Chad was talking. We only go 6 weeks. We do 2 in June around our camps, and then we do 4 in July. So, which I feel like we get a lot done. And I agree with Coach. You know, a lot of it is some team building. You know, new guys getting to know each other with huge roster turnovers. But I agree. Like, I think that, you know, what we do, and I think it's good, you know, not for myself, but for our staff, for our players, you know, when you're away from it, you need to get away from it. Because I just think you can consume yourself to the end with it if you want to. And at the end of the day, I don't know how that really works for everybody. Some people enjoy it and probably do well with it, and some people probably don't. But I think we find enough time in the summer. You know, it's the same. You know, I've got a son that plays a lot of basketball and a daughter that's playing soccer and softball and basketball. So, you know, to be able to spend time with them is just as important, I think, as anything we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Morehead State won your conference tournament last year, went to the NCAA tournament, March Madness. They beat Little Rock. You guys pretty much kicked out everybody at Morehead State. Coach Spradley went to James Madison. They lose Riley Minix, Lythone, and Thomas are all gone. How does the conference look this year, both for your own individual programs and overall as a conference?
I will say Kyle and I did a good job. We're not agents, but we spend a lot of time calling some of these schools to hire some of these coaches within our league. I tried to get Daryl a job at Little Rock, but I didn't get that done. More the merrier. Let's have a lot of turnover. I think it's the environment we're in right now. I'm sure Kyle and I know I've talked about this. Every league, there's such a turnover. You know, one year we're in the Summit, and the Summit League was completely loaded. You had Max A. Smith, you had Grant Nelson, you had all these guys in the Summit. And then with the portal, they're all moving, they're transferring around. And so everybody's kind of resets. And so you just got to try to hold it together. I always say keep the wheels on the wagon, but there's so much rollover and turnover. I thought the league was really good last year from top to bottom. And there's a lot of unknowns. I really don't know. I don't know who Kyle has. I don't know who anybody else has. But I'm sure they're doing the same thing we are, and everybody's just kind of reloading and resetting and having at it.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I mean, for as for being a mid-major programs and a conference, you actually got some guys back. I mean, KK Robinson's back at UALR. You got Ryan Myers back, who is your leading scorer. Lindenwood, you got some players coming back too. And I like Lindenwood. I'm going to tell you something. I like Reggie Bass. That is a good pickup. I've seen him in the flesh at Kent State. And Markeith Browning, the second from Milwaukee. So both got some players coming back, some starters coming back. How does the league look from top to bottom? I mean, some of the rosters you don't know, but the coaches and obviously Coach Boudreau, you did a crappy job with Darrell Walker, who I told Coach Gerdeman that he still might wear knee pads when he coaches, just like when he plays.
Coach Walker's cool as a fan. I can't say anything about Coach Walker. I like him a lot.
You're gonna look at his knees differently, though.
Yeah, I do. Well, I remember I remember watching him in the league too. He's a great college player, but he's a great coach. He's coached at every level and won at every level, and in a lot of ways, he's really good for the league having him in here. But across the board, you look at the league. I was telling my staff this morning, I like all the coaches in the league. They're a bunch of good guys, and the new guys are coming in. I know them too. It's a bunch of good coaches. And that's what makes the league. Sometimes we get caught up in facilities and locations and all that, but it comes down to coaching. And our league, we're fortunate to have a bunch of good guys.
Yeah.
And you have two of the best ones on this show right now, which is well done by you two. I didn't think you could pull it off, but you did. Nice job.
You guys are the only ones who accepted the offer.
Dang it.
We were the bottom of the list.
Yeah. Always the bridesmaids and never the bride. That's us.
No, but I mean, in all honesty, Coach, you were a finalist for Division I Rookie Coach of the Year last year. So congrats for that.
Which is a great honor. It goes out to like 10 people. So it really doesn't matter in the end, because everybody would call, hey, first year coach. And my wife was nice to remind me that she's been National Coach of the Year with 300 other coaches. And again, in this environment, none of that really matters. You just reset and start over. It's like it's a 1-year thing.
And then Coach Gerdeman, like you moving in to Division I with Lindenwood, what's that kind of welcome party been like the past 2 seasons, in the OVC, and kind of how do you envision that third year now?
Well, I think obviously challenging, without a doubt, because we kind of made the announcement late, the year before we decided to make the jump. So, you kind of had to revamp a lot of things that you were kind of planning on. But I think at the same time, I think the transfer portal has helped in that area. It can also hurt you, but I think it's given us a chance to, be competitive right away. In the first year we were competitive. We made the conference tournament, which a lot of people don't realize not everybody makes the conference tournament in the OVC. So I thought that was good for us to get off, to a good start there in year one. I thought last year we were as competitive, didn't quite find the wins that we had in year one, but I think that's been part of the process. But like I said, I think at the same time, the challenges are there for everybody. But, I think that as long as we can, use the transfer portal to our advantage, try to build the roster consistently. And I think that was the thing that was the hardest was, after year one, we had a ton of turnover, even though a lot of people do. It's just the continued process of starting over was kind of hard there, but I think now we've kind of stabilized it with a handful of returners, and then being able to grab some guys that we think can step in and have an impact right away, instead of grabbing 10 or 11 guys and trying to figure out, okay, which one of these guys are going to be able to play for us. I think we got a little bit more we feel like we got a little more comfort level in our roster than maybe we had in the first 2 years. So hopefully moving into year three, that kind of gives us a little stability and some confidence.
Yeah, or you could be like UT Martin, Coach Solman, who brought half his junior college team from Eastern Florida State with him.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, it's smart because those guys will know. You look at Drake and all the success that Drake had. Marty Richter brought all those players with him from Florida Southwestern to Drake, and they were all major contributors there for 2 or 3 years. And they're guys that know a system. And to speak for Kyle, because I know he won't talk about it, but those transitions are tough from Division II to Division I. That takes time. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows South Dakota State right now is a powerhouse in mid-major basketball. They are a powerhouse. But it wasn't that long ago. I was at UW Milwaukee. We couldn't schedule them fast enough because they were in that transition, and that transition, it's it's harder to recruit. It's harder to get players. I don't care where you're at, what kind of facilities you have. Southern Indiana is going through some of the same things. And once, Lindenwood and Southern Indiana get through that, it's going to make life very difficult. That's when I'll be helping Kyle get another job at that point, but we'll cross that bridge.
Or he just keeps getting extensions.
Yeah, no, we want him out of there. We want him in a different league. Let's stay focused.
Yeah.
Turnover.
Yeah, turnover. Let's keep it going.
Turnover.
Talk a little bit about like that roster development. How creative do you guys need to be in today's game? And Coach Gerdeman, like I'm looking at like 3 guys in particular, like Jalen McDaniel, who you brought back, right? And then Jadis Jones, like Missouri high school Gatorade Player of the Year, right? So newcomer, which is kind of odd in today's world to like do that. And then you've got Jordan Widley, powerhouse from junior college. So it seems like you're kind of recruiting in all aspects to kind of build your team this year.
Yeah, well, I think we all do. I think if you look across our league, I mean, I think you'll see rosters sprinkled with NAIA players, Division II players, junior college players, high school guys, because, I think you see it at a lot of levels, but, I think that, we're a league, or, not to speak for everybody, but I think we have to, you have to flip every rock. You're always looking for guys that you think fit your style of play, or that can come in and have an impact for you. And I think it says a lot about, coaching in general, and the type of guys we have, that, we're not afraid to take guys like that either, because we feel like we can find success with them, in the league. So, but like I said, I mean, we do it all the time. It's just, finding guys that, fill a need that you have, and having confidence they can come in and play at this level. But again, I think you see it from a lot of guys. I mean, Coach did it last year with a Division II guy that was great for him. I mean, just had a huge impact on their roster. And he didn't even, have, tremendous numbers in Division II, and then was just phenomenal for him last year. But I think it goes back to him, having the confidence to take guys like that and know that they can impact your program.
Sometimes you got to, we've done it, both of us have done it before in junior college. We take a lot of kids in junior college that go to different levels, and maybe they don't produce, but sometimes it's about fit, and it's about your how you play, your structure of your offense, the structure of your defense. And so you got to find people, the personalities that fit your team, but also, where do they fit athletically, skill wise, and it's a puzzle. But also you got to adapt to your team. Like last year we were bigger, we were longer, more athletic, so we played a little slower. This year you kind of change your offense and your defense a little bit. It's all the same, but you can adjust things playing faster or slower to fit the kind of guys you think you're going to get that year.
Yeah. And what was interesting last year in your league, especially as a kid by the name of Riley Minix, I mean, there's a perfect example, NAIA kid. I mean, for years, no one in NAIA really transferred to Division I. Well, first you had to sit out a year, but I think we talk about all these guys maybe making that jump, the Mark Sears from Ohio U to Alabama, the Dalton Connect from Northern Colorado to Tennessee, but we won't really talk about the guys that have gone from, that level up, or, that level down, like a kid that maybe came from Xavier or, Ohio State or what have you.
Well, I've been at Division III I was at UW Whitewater for a year. I played in NAIA. There's a lot of bad dudes floating around there. A couple years ago, we had Will Carius here when we were in the Summit League, and he was really a good player. And now he's making really great money playing overseas. One of our better big guys right now is a Division III transfer. The gap between the Ohio Valley and some of these other leagues, it's not as wide as we all think it is. And if you're a really good player in NAIA or Division III, and you take care of the ball and you're efficient, you're strong, and you're fit, you're going to be good at this level too. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of got to get rid of that thought process of, well, he's coming from this level. If somebody's efficient, they're going to be efficient at this level too. And Riley Minix was a machine. We were in the Summit. We played against Josiah West, was one of our better players last year, and he's a great defender. And he could guard Grant Nell. He could guard some of those guys in the Summit. But boy, Riley Minix put us in a blender. Like we had no answer for him. I still wake up nightmares of Riley Minix. Thank God.
He's coming back.
No,
he just texted me. Coming back.
We all got COVID. Hey, Riley Minix next time. COVID's back at Western Hall. No, I want to know Riley Minix. Preston did a really good job with him at putting him in situations and catches and offensively. Just put him in spots where he was successful too. But Riley Minix is a great player.
So do you miss Johnny Broom then?
That's for you, Kyle.
No, I don't miss any of those guys.
Yeah, I don't miss any of them either.
Well, how do you retain a kid like Ryan Myers, who had a great 13.3, points a game last year, second team all OVC? How do you retain a kid like that?
I don't know. I didn't try to retain him because I thought he would be gone. I really did, and I like Ryan a lot. He's a great kid, but Ryan's one of those kids. He was at Iona, he was at Indian Hills, and he was solid at those places. But
he's sick of moving, is what you're saying. He's sick of moving.
Really made a move here basketball wise. Like, he was way more efficient. He was a way better player. And some of that's comfort. And I think him and his family stepped back and like, okay, the short-term money of going somewhere else compared to the long-term of having another good year, another efficient year, and then continuing that on to go play. Because, a couple of our guys from last year are going to be in Europe. We got guys from years before. I still have players. Tony Meyer, that Kyle Gerdeman told me about a long time ago from St. Louis, is still in Europe playing. And, it's probably the easiest path for him to continue playing by staying here and being efficient. And it was a great move for us. And I think it was, in the end, it was a smart move by him. Now, during that process, I just let him sort it out. And I just assumed he would go, because that's what a lot of people are doing right now. And I'm not condoning anybody for doing it. At that age, I would have taken the money. I would have taken a 6-figure thing and taken off. And yeah. And you guys know, before we started recording, what I'd have probably done with it. It'd been amazing. So here we are, I would have made a poor decision with that. And do as I say, not out of done. He's good for him. It was a mature decision. It's good for our program.
Yeah, but what's crazy, which you never used to see intra-conference transfers. And there's a player at Moorhead State, Kenny White Jr., who's on his 4th OVC school. I mean, isn't that crazy when you think about it?
Yeah. I mean, that does seem pretty strange. But we've had a handful of them in the league just the couple of years we've been here. I can't think of the kid's name, but the kid from Tennessee State was, I think, 5-time all-league player at 2 different schools, at Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State, right? The point guard.
Yeah,
I lost his name, but yeah, we've had a handful of those in the league. Yeah, it's strange.
Hey, how does his roster look for you to pick up some kids there, Coach Gerdeman?
What's that?
How does his roster, the gentleman below you, how does his roster kind of play out for your needs next year?
I try not to talk about him a whole lot and wait till we play the first time. And then
he wants to get a good. I tell him who to take, but he wants to see him in person. He don't trust my evals.
We're not too far away, so I can drive up there.
You can just go up and watch practice.
The whole Connor Stallions is going to be taken to a new level in college basketball this year. I just feel it.
Well, that's a nice thing about Kyle's setup down there. It's open, and so people can come and go. So, I can send people over there every day and no one really knows, like here at Western, you kind of stand out like, oh, okay. This is no, everything's so transparent with the film and all. If you want to know about somebody, we can hop on Synergy and figure it out pretty quickly. And we're both old, so we can call around and find out. And,
yeah.
And I'm fine with it, because Kyle and I can take other jobs if we want to. So if a kid wants to transfer, have at it. Go somewhere else and give it a whirl.
Yes.
We talked a little bit. You talked a little bit about how the OVC is kind of set up where, you can move from the bottom to the top pretty quickly, even in the same year, pretty quickly, depending on how the teams are evolving. When you guys kind of look at your own kind of scouting and predictions for the year, is there any kind of surprises that you guys are kind of looking at? Like, wow, they did a really good job putting this team together. They have a lot of good returners coming back.
I'm probably not very good at that question, because I don't spend a lot of time, following who the other schools have signed and things like that. I noticed kind of the returners. You talked about KK Robinson. Obviously, that's big for Little Rock. But I don't, maybe my staff does, but I just don't spend a lot of time watching, who other guys have signed and things like that. I think we look more at the returners, and, Chad having guys back, it's going to be important. Little Rock having guys back, it's going to be important. I think it gives those teams an advantage that had, all league guys return. I kind of leave it at that.
Yeah. Good question.
I don't pay any attention to it. I'm not on social media. I don't pay attention to it. I don't care. Because in the end, it's going to come down to what we do, how we play. Are we going to take care of the ball? Are we going to run our stuff? Are we going to be efficient? Are we going to be defensively where we need to be? I don't have
Sam,
time.
Sam, that was a great question.
Well, it's hard enough for us to try to like make predictions, which we're asked to do, So I thought I'd ask some guys who are actually.
I had an NBA scout call me last week about just getting a list of players from our league in his line, because the NBA, they have unlimited resources and things. People that keep track of this, they just can't keep track of all the movement. There's so much movement going on. Who, what, when, where? Like no one. Because I had reached out to him about Riley Minix during the year, and they brought him in and like, oh my gosh, this guy was great. Where did he come from? Where he been? Like, they don't know. And so there's so much movement. It's so hard to keep track of. And I told him I'm the last guy to ask because I don't know who's in our league either.
Yeah. I will tell you the one kid that I really like is at SIU Edgeworthville, a kid by the name of Joe Valerie. He averaged 20.3, 10 rebounds a game from NIA Point Park. So watch out for him.
SIU Edwards, so they got a good squad. I mean, Brian Barone's put a good team together. They got Rayshawn Taylor, who, may be the preseason defensive player of the year. We'll see how he kind of matches up with some of these new guys. But Coach Barone's done a good job there for sure.
For sure. SIUE is my pick to win the league. I hope Brian's watching this right now, and so he can really chew on that for a little bit. But that is my pick. They're loaded.
Yeah. But I think, again, it goes back to what we talked about. They've got, a guy back that's been an all-league guy for 3 years, I guess. So those teams that have, good players back and guards have to be, at the top.
Yeah. So Sam, you want to start them off? Because these answers will be perfect for these two.
I'm kind of scared, LT. So we do a little thing called the shot clock. LT is going to fire off like 5 or 6. They're going to be easy questions. Some of them might be a little ridiculous, but whatever comes to mind, just let it rip. Whether it's a one word or you want to tell a quick story, let's get it.
All right. One word to describe the Ohio Valley Conference. One word.
Go ahead, Kyle. I'm waiting on you.
Competitive.
Okay.
Entertaining.
Okay. Most animated OVC coach on the sideline.
Daryl Walker.
Wow, Preston's gone. I would have said Preston before. Yeah, I'll go with Daryl.
Okay, that was easy.
I don't know, but yeah.
Toughest place to play in the OVC.
Moorhead. It's on the moon.
Moorhead State
on the moon too. So
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, why so?
You can hardly get there.
It's hard to get there. Like we took a bus. I think one time we were in mopeds. It just seemed like it took us forever to get to Moorhead State.
It's just a long trip. I think there's a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Who is your least favorite OVC mascot?
Can I answer this? Because it kind of bothers me. UT Martin, and I love the people down there. Like super nice people, nice. It's like a hawk with like a goggles on its head or something. It looks. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I don't really know what it is. It looks like something. It looks like something off of like a Harold and Kumar movie or something. Like down in their basement and really getting after it. It just. I don't know that. I'd say is it the Skyhawks?
Yeah,
Skyhawks. Skyhawks. Yeah. I'd say the Skyhawks.
Maybe that's why Ryan Ritter went to Mercery.
Oh yeah, couldn't get Ryan out of the league fast enough. Good job, Ryan.
Yeah.
Good luck at Mercer.
And Sears is gone too, so it's a double-edged sword. Jordan Sears went to LSU.
Yeah, we know the guys that are leaving. We keep track of them.
Yeah, that's the guys. We know the guys that left. We don't know anybody that came in.
About the new guys.
You want to know who left that was good? We can run down that whole list.
Yeah, we can run down that list. Is he good enough for us? Oh, absolutely. Take him.
All right, this is going to be a good one. Best Ohio Valley Conference official.
Oh.
Don't hold back, guys. Take your time.
All of them. Every official. I enjoy. I didn't get a technical last year. I've never gotten a technical, so I like all of them. They're great. They do a good job.
We have new officials coming in this year, I think, don't we? Some new officials. So
New assigner.
I'm anxious to get to know those guys.
Yeah, I am too.
Sure you are.
I think my
Maybe you can
favorite
meet
guy
him at
right now is
Chick-fil-A
Mike
in
Eads,
St.
the
Charles.
new assigner.
Yeah.
But they're all going to be great in Macomb.
You know what? That's a nice thing. When officials travel to Macomb, they're just so happy to be here in the first place, and so then we get a great whistle because they're thrilled to be here. You know, when I was at UW Milwaukee, I did all the scheduling for the hotels for the officials, and I did that because I wanted to get to know them, and a lot of those guys I already knew and I liked. And every official that came to Milwaukee when I was at UW, they wanted to stay. Hey, can I get a hotel here? Can I get a hotel here? I'm in year first. This is my second year as a head coach. This is year 5 for me. I haven't had a single official talk about wanting to stay in Macomb and hang out.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It's shocking.
We could come hang out on my little acreage, ride some 4-wheelers, and shoot groundhogs. It'd be a good time.
Coach Gerdeman, are you regretting asking him to join you?
No, we're just getting started. This is
He knows it could get way worse.
we finally got to this.
You haven't asked the right questions, guys. Keep going.
Oh God!
Keep
All right.
rapid firing.
So let's stay on the officiating. Which team fouls the most in your conference last year? Who fouled the most?
Who got the most fouls called on them?
Did they call it or they just foul the most?
They called it. LT only has stats in front of him, so he's.
What school?
So you're going to tell us if we're right or wrong?
Yeah.
Might have been Lindenwood.
Coach Boudreau, who do you say?
I'm going Tennessee State.
I'm going to say us.
Okay.
No. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Southern Illinois with 21 personal fouls per game.
Okay.
SIUE.
Yeah. No, USI.
Oh, Southern Indiana.
Oh, Southern Indiana.
Southern Indiana.
Who fouled the least in your conference as a team?
Morehead State.
Morehead State.
Nope. Give you one more guess.
Western Illinois.
Nope. So you think, Coach Boudreau, Coach Boudreau, you think you have it really good, but this team has it better than you, big boss.
Could have been us because we were really bad defensively, so there was no way we were going to foul a whole lot.
If you ask the question, who missed the most free throws, that's us. Yeah, I know that. That was us.
You ready for it? It was Tennessee Tech with 13.6.
Yeah, he has a great relationship with the officials. I can do that. Yeah.
Better than you, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, way better.
Maybe he likes to stay in hotels at near TTU.
Yeah, in Nashville, they drive in. They're a lot happier when they roll in.
Yeah. Okay. So last question. We ask we ask a lot of our coaches this, and it's kind of I want to ask you about each other. So, Coach Boudreau, if Coach Gerdeman was a candle scent, what candle scent would he be?
Oh, cinnamon, just so sweet, but yet, yeah, cinnamon. You know, like it's just,
oh my God.
Yeah, you know, like cinnamon, you can put in different things. Kyle can go into different places. Everyone likes cinnamon. Yeah.
It's funny. We asked that question to Coach Scary about Coach Spiker, and he said lavender, and Coach Spiker all of a sudden says, "I hate lavender." So it sounds like Coach. Yeah, Coach,
I can just see him smashing a Cinnabon right now in that St. Louis airport where he's getting ready to go on a recruiting trip.
I drive down there just to
right now. Him just deep into a big one with a glass of milk.
Oh, that's okay. Now let's switch the question. Okay, so Coach Gerdeman, what would Coach Boudreau be for a scented candle?
Man, I'm not. You guys do a lot with candles. I'm not.
I got 5 kids.
I'm not a big scented candle guy, but I think he would be a variety pack of all candles because, again, I think similar to cinnamon, but not quite as good. Mixes in with a lot of different people and personalities, and does well in those environments.
Like
you're trying to say you never know what you're going to get with Coach Boudreau.
Yeah, could be a grab bag of candles.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you pulled out a birthday candle, he would do that. If you pulled out a lavender candle, he'd be fine with that. Any type, not just scented.
Yeah, like summer breeze, pine,
fit right in there.
Yeah. All right, Sam.
He owns time would be good for him. He owns farms. He likes to hunt.
We've had all kinds of answers from gun smoke or gunpowder scent to bourbon vanilla oak, you name it. So,
that's not Kyle and I. We're a little more refined.
Yeah,
we're sophisticated, refined.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of immature people in our business, and we try to rise above that and be more professional.
What Sam really wants to ask is, what the hell is a leatherneck?
I know what
a leatherneck
is.
Yeah, go ahead. Military term. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a military term for the Marines, and Ray Rock Hansen, I think, was the athletic director, football coach. He was a very highly decorated Marine who brought the Marine tradition to Macomb, Illinois, when he took it over there. So I think they let the fans vote, and they came up with the leathernecks to honor Coach Ray Rock Hansen.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Me neither. We're still wondering why the Presbyterian College are called the Blue Hoses, but at least we know what a leatherneck is in the OVC.
Yeah. So, coaches, I'm going to turn it over to you guys the last minute of the show. Anything you guys want to share about your own programs? Coach Boudreau, how your fans are going to be filling up Western Hall, where you're in right now this season, and Coach Gerdeman, kind of what you're looking forward to this third season over at Lindenwood.
Since you said mine, I'm going to crowd in front of Cinnamon here real quick. And I think in the style of play, we're going to be physical. We're defensively, we kind of hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Hakinen, my associate head coach, is in charge of the defense and does a great job with it. Offensively, unfortunately, I have a great staff. John Clancy, Chris Hill, Cam Streets, Chris Glover, Colton Sandage, and they do a great job. And I want to make sure to bring them up first. Secondly, the town of Macomb does a wonderful job of supporting us. And, big fish, small pond, however you want to look at it. We have great turnout to our games. People are excited about basketball. We have open practices. So we have people here all the time that are watching around, and it's going to be an exciting season. There's so many unknowns. I think that's what makes it great for both Kyle and I, is the unknown. I really don't know how good we are. I don't. Last year at this time, I thought, maybe you just don't know until you go out and play somebody else. And so we got to keep building, and I'm excited for the season, and I'm excited to see what everybody else in the league is doing. But the OVC last year was a great league, and I hope we can repeat that this year.
Yeah, I think for us, kind of, a little bit of what we just talked about a little bit earlier, I just think, the excitement of moving into year 3 and feeling comfortable, as comfortable as we've been with where we're at from a roster standpoint. I agree with Chad. I mean, you never know what you have until you play somebody, but I like the pieces we've been able to add to it with the returners we brought back. I think we're stronger. I think we're bigger, more athletic, all the things that you need to be to compete at this level and in this conference. I think we're excited that we can get back to a style of play that, I've always enjoyed. We've always, had up-tempo teams, and I felt like the last couple of years we just couldn't really do that. And, I'm hopeful we can get back to that, style of play, a little more exciting, a little more aggressive, a little more physical defensively. But I think just overall, just the enjoyment of moving your program forward, during a transition that's tough, but being excited about where you're at and knowing that you can be competitive in a good league is what we're looking forward to.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't think any of us will know even by Christmas, because a lot of us play bye games, and there's so many games that really don't match up well with conference play. And so it won't start sorting out till middle of January. And then you're like, okay, we could be pretty good, or, we're going to struggle. And I think that's the interesting side of this.
Yeah, but I think also, too, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Coach Jones from Stetson or Coach Cuff from Lipscomb talking about the Atlantic Sun. Is, they'll have a pretty challenging non-conference schedule. It'll be like, the conference is not that good, right? It's, people struggle against this or that. Maybe there was 1 or 2 upsets. But until you get like that 3 days, 4 days in March, it's really anything can happen, right?
Well, you make a good point because, there's so many guarantee games. And so the easiest thing to do is people across the country or in the region, wherever, is just look at the records of the teams in the leagues. They'll look at the OVC records and, teams will be 5-6, they'll be 6-5, they'll be 2-8. We'll be all over the place in the non-conference. But I don't think that defines any of our teams. And again, it's kind of, you get to the end in March, and I think a lot of times anything can happen, but I think you'll look up in January and February and you'll look at the conference standings and the conference records, and those will be a lot more realistic of what the league is really about.
Yeah. And those same teams that beat you in November and December, they're paying you to come to their place. The chances of you winning are way less, but if you can catch them at a later date on a neutral site, things change. And so that's what Morehead State last year, I thought their draw was horrible for the NCAA tournament because there were some other teams sitting at that other across from them that they could have beaten. Yeah. And getting Illinois we played them last year. I want no part of Illinois ever again either. And, like that, it's all about draws and situations. But Morehead was in place last year, I thought, to win a game or two in the tournament.
Yeah. We would agree on that one because we had we followed them and watched them and stuff like that and saw what they did in the conference tournament and throughout the year. So, but coaches, we really appreciate you're going to stick on for one more second. Sam, that was another good one. You got to watch the Ohio Valley Conference. And I know Coach Gerdeman misses Murray State because we talked about that before, but it should be another great year. What do you want to say something, Coach Boudreau?
Yeah, I missed Murray State too, and I went even to league and Belmont. Like I wish. But you know what? I sure don't miss that South Dakota, North Dakota trip. But you think Morehead State's a long ways away. At least when you go to Morehead State, it's sunny and 70.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
up deep to a Ferris wheel one year we were up at North Dakota. That's a different trip. So
well, thanks, coaches. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow the OVC this year, and we'll be back probably tomorrow and the next day with another conference preview show. Thank God I'm not going to bash the Pac-10, 12 or 8, but that just saved us one less preview show. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.